Sound check, testing, testing, sound check.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Board of Commissioners meeting, March 3rd, 2025. First, we have Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Clark.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next is the approval of the agenda.
Mayor, I have two things. I would like to pull ordinance 2025-25, the UDO text amendments on the regional mixed use, and table that until March 20th. There are some questions that need to be answered, and we need to give staff time to address those. In addition, I would like to pull from new business the staffing addition and administration and ask that staff bake that into the budget for the 2026 budget cycle. And finally, I'm going to ask that when appointed boards come before us for updates, if you guys could come before us at work sessions, that would be super helpful because that would allow us to engage in a little bit more dialogue. But since you guys are here, we'd love to have your update. So those are my two amendments.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to approve the agenda as amended.
Oh.
Go ahead, you do it.
You have a second?
We have an approval with amendments and a second. Any questions, comments from the board? Hearing none. All in favor for the amended agenda approval? All in favor?
Favor.
Motion passes. Next, we will have the school recognition, and just found out that Alex is not here, couldn't make it, so we're going to ask for Ms. Gregory to come to the front, please. This evening for our Teacher of the Month, we have Ms. Alicia Gregory, which shows dedication and initiative for teaching methods and commitment to each of her students and for success. Her ability to inspire, challenge, and support students creates a lasting impact on both their academics and personal growth. With a passion for education and nurturing approach, she fosters the love and learning, making a profound difference in the lives of each student who comes into her classroom. Ms. Gregory is an outstanding outstanding student growth data that's measured by the EVAAS. That sounds high-tech. The town of Zebulon recognizes Alicia Gregory of Zebulon Magnet Elementary School for her commitment to students and innovative teaching methods. March 3rd, 2025, signed by the Mayor, Glenn L. York. proclamation for the Olympics, recognition from the Zebulon Elementary School for Science and Olympians, and Commissioner Baxter is going to read that one for me. Thank you.
I could have all of my science Olympians up here, please. You guys, look at these rock stars. Come on up here, everybody.
So cute.
I'm going to try not to get emotional because I am such a fan of science. Here, stand like right. All right, cool. All right, this is a proclamation for the Zebulon Elementary School Science Olympians. Whereas science education plays a pivotal role in shaping the minds of future generations, fostering critical thinking, and enabling students to address global challenges through innovation and discovery. Whereas the rapid advancement of science and technology demands that students are equipped with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in an increasingly complex world. Whereas equitable access to quality science education is crucial for empowering students of all backgrounds to pursue careers in STEM fields. Whereas hands-on learning, inquiry-based teaching, and interdisciplinary approaches to science education have proven effective in deepening students' understanding, fostering a passion for scientific exploration. Whereas clubs and activities that involve science objectives teach students how to work in unison, troubleshoot, explore, and innovate. Whereas the advancement of science for the benefit of all humanity requires, this is where I get a little bit, an unselfish and collaborative approach to further local, regional, and global goals and initiatives. Whereas, and it's the final whereas, celebrating students for not only their accomplishments in science, but also their overall attitude towards collaboration and competition builds character as well as a scientific mindset. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Zebulon would like to recognize and celebrate students endeavoring to solve problems and achieve goals in the area of science in ways that foster good faith, excitement, and overall spirit. The town of Zebulon recognizes not only the 6th place Science Olympiad finish by Anna Mitchell and Karina Davis, but also the entire Zebulon Elementary School Science Olympiad team of Isaiah Asensio Gonzalez, Micaiah Ash, Ezra Berry, Juan Chaz Gonzalez, Luella Chambers, Karina Davis, Riley Hewitt, Skyla McNeil, Anna Mitchell, Yuretsi Nero Tenorio, Bo Waller, Blake Waller, and Ezekiel Zaragoza for receiving the Spirit Award for their sportsmanship as well as their respect. Number 3, the town of Zebulon would also like to recognize Elizabeth Baker for her great guidance, teaching, and support, and leading students forward in and helping her students develop a passion for science. Adopted this 3rd day of March, 2025. Signed, Mayor Glenn L. York. Ms. Baker has something for each of you, as well as she's going to show off. Go ahead and explain.
Olympiad, students compete in a combination of 15 different events in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Part of the tournament, besides the places where they rank in the events, is the Spirit Award. The Spirit Award is like our pride expectations that we teach the kids in school. It's being prepared and present, being respectful to others, showing integrity when something goes wrong, displaying your self-control, and showing effort. Almost forgot what the E was. So This award, the Conan Morgan Spirit Award, is a judges voted award. In order to win it, you have to be nominated by the judges. And I am very honored to say that multiple judges at the tournament nominated us for this award. Allow me real quick, I do have some rewards for our kids, starting with Skyla. Every student is getting a trophy for their own, so they have their own personal spirit award, and a ribbon from the Science Olympiad organization for participating in the tournament. So, Skyla, you are up first. Then Yuritsi. Ezekiel. Blake. Bo. Girls, I think I skipped over them. I actually have their medals from their event that they placed 6th in, which was SkyQuest. So they get their medals as well. So Anna. And Karina. Thank you very much, parents, and my school family, and along with my parents, for supporting me and helping me through this. And kids, can't wait till next year. We now have a Spirit Award to defend.
Good job, Baxter. Good job. Thank you.
Glenn, can you get a copy of that so I can send it to the school? Okay.
You just keep it because I get another copy. Okay.
They have homework to do, so they're excused.
Next, we have public comment. We have 2 to sign up for public comment. First is Scott Carpenter. Would you come to the podium, please?
My name is Scott Carpenter. I live in downtown Zebulon. Good evening. While the February 27th Talk of the Town had some very helpful moments, the community wants more than just talk. They want conversation with the town, dialogue with the town. To truly solve problems, we need dialogue that brings everyone to the table to listen. What did we get? Citizens showed up and submitted 70 questions, and there were at least 14 other questions turned in before the meeting. The public never heard the public comments. We got responses to 4 questions. Most egregiously, the town of Zebulon's failure to allow and recognize public comment during a public meeting is a violation of the First Amendment free speech principles that are protected constitutional rights. David L. Hudson Jr., assistant professor of law at Belmont University, explains, and I quote, "Perhaps the most fundamental of all First Amendment free speech principles is that individuals have a right to speak at public meetings, which includes free speech right to criticize the government. The U.S. Supreme Court explained this core democratic principle in New York Times Company versus Sullivan, 1964. First Amendment prohibits government officials from silencing speakers based on their point of view. This is called viewpoint discrimination in First Amendment law. When the government discriminates against viewpoints, it is distorting the marketplace of ideas and impeding free trade in ideas by allowing the expression of some ideas but not others. The U.S. Supreme Court upheld this principle in Mattal versus Tam, 2017, and further elaborated upon it 2 years later in Iancu versus Brunetti, 2019, end quote. Comment cards were provided by citizens in a public forum. They are part of the public record. Therefore, I would like to formally make a request for information, RFI, Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, request for the following. 1, a copy of all questions submitted by the public during the February 27th public meeting. 2, copies of all additional questions submitted prior to the public meeting by printouts, email, or any and all additional electronic means. I would ask for these 2 items to be satisfied within 10 calendar days. Additionally, I would ask for 3, copies of communications between staff and/or elected officials that talk about the process for the handling of public comments from the February 27th public meeting, including but not limited to emails, texts, and/or other electronic means to cover before, during, and after the public meeting. Thank you.
Next for public comment is, I don't want to mess up this name, Daniqua Stancil.
Hi, my name is Daniqua Stancil, and I'm here with Wake Enterprises Spark program, and we do cover the Zebulon, Nidell, and Wendell area. Thank you for the opportunity to share this exciting program with you today. Spark is a grant program that works with youth and adults living with intellectual or developmental disabilities, find customized employment opportunities within their communities. Our team encompasses a benefits counselor, job coach, and care navigator. Together, we all ensure clients are work ready for the positions that they are offered. As a program that would like to find positions that our clients are interested in and within their communities, we are looking to partnership with small businesses that have positions or opportunities available so that our clients can grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there any other emails or letters for public comment consideration?
No, sir. And received none.
Do we have a point of contact for her, Mayor, too, as well? The young lady just spoke, do we have a point of contact for her? Yeah, contact.
She's got it.
Thank you.
Next, we will have consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Is there a second? All in favor? Motion passes. Next, we will have a presentation from Smart Cities from my good friend, Marsville Commissioner, Mr. Steve Rao.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to congratulate the children who just won this award and the Spirit Award. Conan Morgan was a good friend of mine, so he would have been very proud of having an award in his name. Thank you. My name is Steve Rao. Most of you know me. I've served on the City Council in Morrisville for 14 years, a few of those as Mayor Pro Tem. I am running to be one of the next Wake County Commissioners in 2026. And a big part of what I've been trying to do is get around to every town in the county to talk about parts of the playbook that I think is important to grow jobs and innovation in the county. And today I'm here to talk to you about technology and smart cities. In the interest of time, what I've decided is I'm going to send you the slides because it would take too long to go through 12 slides and have a conversation with you and then take a few questions. But I want to thank you, Mayor, for the invitation. I want to thank Commissioner Baxter she's a longtime friend of mine, and thank you so much. And also, it's great to see the Mayor Pro Tem as well. As our region continues to grow, we must embrace technology and innovation to improve public services, enhance the quality of life, and ensure economic viability and sustainability. So today I want to talk about what I call smart cities and what we've been able to do in Morrisville to go from literally nowhere to becoming national leaders. So what is a smart city? A smart city is, all of us have our devices, mine is right there, And those devices connect to the internet, and it's called the Internet of Things. And it's how we leverage technology, data, and innovation to enhance the quality of services, reduce costs, and the most important thing is create a better opportunity, quality of life for residents. So let me give you a couple of examples before I dive in, just ideas of how we can expand this to Zebulon and other counties. So in Morrisville, when I had kids and they would go play soccer, when the fields were flooded, we would go there and someone would call a website and say, oh my God, and they would call the number and no one knew. But today, we put sensors on our fields, so there's instant notifications to our staff and our residents, also on a mobile app which we've developed that says the fields are flooded and the gates automatically shut. So it's an example of how automation is helping just reduce the time for staff and those kinds of things. Pickleball is becoming more popular in Morrisville. I was a former college tennis player, so I was training my son a few years ago, and we would drive to play tennis, but we'd never know which court was taken. So we'd drive for 1 hour, get frustrated, and we wouldn't be able to play. But now I can get visibility on all of my facilities, and we're extending that to the usage of a gym. So if I want to go and swim in Morrisville, and if the lap lanes are, I can actually look at that. So all of this is really, really great stuff, and we've been winning national awards, the Global CIO of Innovation Award. We got an award from Governor Cooper and Secretary Weaver at the time for the Digital Innovation Award. And it all started by, and I'm going to talk at the end about what I think Zebulon could do, but we started a Smart City Task Force, and we brought in technology leaders to come and give us ideas. And then we met with departments who came in and gave us ideas. And then we had a company called IDC come and assess where this would fit in. And then we looked for quick wins, like I just mentioned. So it was really, really exciting. And this Tuesday, we're going to be presenting another results of a survey of what residents want from technology. And finally, the other thing we're doing is the elephant in the room. I'm in the tech sector, so I serve on the boards of some companies. I'm an investor in some companies, and I'm a lobbyist, but I do a lot of work in artificial intelligence. And this is a really, really big word, everyone. But we're using AI today in Morrisville, generative AI, like ChatGPT, to develop searchability of documents. So if I wanted to go and look at, how many documents were there, I could actually just type in and do that. I would find the documents easier than just getting the PowerPoint slides. And I mean, I've been on council 14 years. I can never forget, I can never remember when the PowerPoint came in and what, whether, or how many permits were issued, or how many developments, or how many conditional rezonings that we in the council approved. So that's one way. We've actually got a new chatbot now, and I want to invite you all to Morrisville to watch cricket. We are the cricket capital of the U.S., so Major League Cricket, which is a professional sport, it's a European sport. They play it in India. We have one of the best cricket team pitches in the country, and Major League Cricket teams are coming. It takes about $1 billion to buy a cricket team, so a lot of the big tech giants are like Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, other leaders that are from India are buying these cricket teams. And Team USA and Team Sri Lanka have trained there. But our chatbot's called Morris the Cricket, and it's kind of cute in terms of marketing, but it's going to be a chatbot that's going to be able to, when my 83-year-old dad calls his son and says, son, when does my yard waste get picked up? And I can't remember. Well, he can now go to Morris the Cricket, which will be on our website, and get basic things that we can do. And of course, there's concerns about security and stuff like that, but I think we can work on that. So the bottom line is that I got a few more points to make, and then I want to make it interactive and take questions. Broadband is critical. Governor Cooper was deploying about $1 billion of broadband from the ARP Act, and Secretary Weaver and Deputy Secretary Nate Denny were expanding that broadband. So as we expand broadband around the county, we can leverage these technologies to be smart cities, which I think can help our quality of services for our residents. Smart infrastructure can also enhance transportation, synchronizing like in Morrisville, a lot of times our traffic is caused by traffic lights not changing, especially as you get closer to the RTP. So someone being able to see that, even though that's in our town, that's managed by DOT. Energy efficiency, looking at your energy efficiency of your buildings for sustainability so you can build more efficient water management. Real-time data to improve response times and ensure communities are safer, and also focusing on EMS service for our seniors. But all of this does tie into economic development. So there's an organization led by an individual named Tom Snyder called Riot. And Riot is basically an organization where Tom and his team have worked with startup companies and entrepreneurs to come and solve problems for towns. And now it's gone so, like he gave a state of the industry address, it was sold out. There were 400 people there. And what he does is he comes to towns and solves problems, whether it's stormwater management or it's traffic management. And then these entrepreneurs do really well, and they hire people. So some of them have gone on to grow. There's a Riot incubator. So I'm going to send the commissioners information about this and the residents of Zebulon, because I think this is something we can do in Wake County to create jobs and even tech, because Zebulon is still in Wake County, and we can grow tech in even areas not more urban. For every, Secretary Marshall said the other day, for every small business that's successful, we create about, if we increase performance by 5%, we can create about 24,000 jobs. So that's a big part of our economic development in Wake County, and Zebulon can be a part of that. Smart energy I talked about. So a couple of next steps and ideas. I wanted to keep it really high level. I think that, first of all, I think the biggest challenge is Morrisville's having a lot of success, but we have to have a better place to share these best practices in Wake County. So one thing that I've asked the commissioners to do is have a Wake County Smart City Task Force where cities like towns like Morrisville can come and present what they're doing and how they're doing it and help Zebulon. The good news is this doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's not really that hard, but it's a great thing you can do to grow value for your residents. I think an AI task force would also be good to look at how AI can be used by all the governments of Wake County to enhance the quality of service of residents, but also how do we address the obsolescence of jobs at a very rapid rate. So we have to make sure, as John Chambers, who's a family friend of mine who ran Cisco, one of the largest technology companies in the world, I knew his mom and dad, he says that jobs are being obsoleted way faster than we can replenish them. But the good news is, when I brought him here last year to talk, that we can create new jobs by partnering with our community colleges to train people for these new skills, upskilling our workforce. Having, one thing I've been doing is with the godfather of AI in the Triangle, Mark Hinkle, he's been offering seminars. There's a summit on March 17th where he's going to train people on how to use ChatGPT, how to use it to help them be more productive in their jobs. State and federal grants, well, maybe not so much federal, but state grants would be good. Pilot programs, that's where I really think there's an opportunity for Zebulon. Identifying quick win strategies where you can look and see about facility usage in your parks, digital access hubs to demonstrate impact and scalability. So Wake County is, a tech county. We're the home of SAS, we're the home of IBM, we're the home of Cisco, we're the home of Oracle, Microsoft. I could go on and on. Scott Wingo, who runs the Tweener Fund. Most of those guys live in Morrisville, Cary. But I think there's an opportunity to bring that kind of innovation here to Zebulon, to bring it to Rollville, to bring it to Knightdale, to expand it around the county. So this is the second stop on my Smart City tour to come at the invitation of Mayor York and Commissioner Baxter. I think by working together, we can leverage technology to create a more connected, efficient, and sustainable future for residents. So I'm really happy that I'm here. I've written extensively on this topic on WRAL TechWire. So if you Google Steve Rao, WRAL TechWire, there's an article I wrote called Making North Carolina a Smart County, a Smart State. So it really walks you through everything I just did. And then I just did one last week on making Wake County an AI county, and it talks a little bit about that. And I've got a new one coming out tomorrow. So I'm going to stop there and take questions, but I hope what I've been able to share has been helpful to the commissioners, the staff, and also the residents who are here and also listening, streaming online. So thank you. Appreciate your time today.
Any comments from the board?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for coming out from Morrisville. I don't envy your drive home, even though it's a little bit later. You're still going to probably run into some traffic. But certainly the time is now for us in Zebulon to be thinking about how do we make our town more, I think, like smart accessible, but also utilize AI, which is not going away, to the best of our ability, and to make it the safest that we can. And I appreciate you commenting about broadband, because certainly it is something that is very important for us to have out here in Eastern Wake County. And moving forward, that's something that, you know, is definitely one of our priorities.
Yeah, and I think the county investing more in broadband, and, you know, I don't know, we had Google Fiber in Morrisville, but they're not really here anymore, but getting more of the Giga Fiber and stuff like that can help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Any other questions, comments from the board? Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. It's great to be in your great town of Zebulon. It's a beautiful town hall. Residents are so friendly and nice. You all have been very welcoming. Come to Morrisville, Mayor and the Commissioners, spend some of your money there. We got 9 more months left on my term, so we got good stuff going on. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you around the county.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Parks and Recs Advisory Board.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board, town manager, assistant town manager, as well as everybody else that's in attendance. Appreciate you all for allowing us to take a few minutes to just explain and highlight and share some of the recent successes and as well as Parks and Rec programming expansion and, you know, some of the priorities, a couple of the priorities that that we thought were important for fiscal year 2026 with the Parks and Rec budget. I didn't fully explain or fully introduce myself. My name is Brandon Wiggins. I serve as chair of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. I have with me Mr. who serves as vice chair on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Yes, and we are here on behalf of the entire Parks and Rec's Board Advisory Board as representation of also our following members: Marcus Bennett, Garrett Underhill, and Ms. Wendy Watson.
Excellent. And for those of you that may not know about the advisory board, that may not know we exist, basically what we do on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is we advise Parks and Rec on certain policy, Parks and Rec policy, as well as their fiscal year budgets about things that we think may be a little bit more important than others. So when we look at Parks and Rec program expansion, this was for fiscal years 2023 and 2024. Over those 2 years, we've had substantial growth in almost every single area. If you look, summer camps, we had 18% growth. Athletics, we had 41% growth. Program attendance was up 36%. Event attendance was up 4%. Programs offered was up 12%. Events offered up 10%. Rentals went up 31%. These numbers not only represent an increase in community interest in our Parks and Rec programming, but they also represent a continued commitment from the town of Zebulon and Parks and Recreation. As our population continues to increase on a daily basis, so does the desire for those in our community to be involved in what it is that our Parks and Rec department has to offer. So in preparation for the fiscal year 2026 Parks and Rec budget, Parks and Rec Director Sheila Long sought our input on the advisory board, both as a group and individually, on what it is that we thought were the two most important things out of a list of many capital projects. Upon reconvening at our November 2024 meeting, the members of the advisory board quickly identified two priority areas where we felt the immediate focus should be placed for Parks and Rec. And those two priorities were land acquisition and an increase of staffing for Parks and Rec programs and maintenance. So as shown before in the previous slide, we saw significant growth in every single area of for every single one of our programs from fiscal year 2023 to 2024. And if history is any indicator, that growth will continue from fiscal year 2024 to this year as both program interest and our town population expands.
As of today, the town of Zebulon currently has 167.8 acres of parkland, which when you look at the recommended standard according to the current national benchmark from NRPA, which is the National Recreation Park Association, you see that there should be 10.1 acres per every 1,000 residents. This would appear to be enough. However, if we continue at our current 8.4% rate of growth, estimating 25,000 residents by 2030, this will quickly outgrow our current park systems. This is why the Parks and Recreation Board Advisory has prioritized land acquisition. As many of us know, land in Eastern Wake County is still considered affordable compared to the rest of the county, and developers continue to target this available land in our area for housing, businesses, and etc. In an effort to frame our objective, please consider this scenario. When Parks and Recreation attempts to acquire a parcel of land with the intent of building, let's say, a brand new park at this location, there will inevitably be a delay from the time of purchase to the time of building complete. Once the entire process is completed, it could be a year or more before the land is prepared for build. Meanwhile, our population is continuing to climb without those needs being filled. We feel that the time to act is now, so we can be certain that we have the capacity to meet the recreational needs and desires of our growing community. In addition to stabilizing the Parks and Recreation footprint to meet our community needs, here are other benefits that will enhance the experience of our citizens and visitors. We will be able to more protect natural resources and wildlife habitats, ensure future generations have access to green spaces, provide space for new recreation facilities, and of course, as a proud bee city, we will be giving bees, as well as other vital parts of our ecosystem, more habitat to thrive.
So moving on to our second priority that we identified, which is to increase staffing for both programming staff and maintenance staff. I am aware that we recently brought on a general programmer for our programming staff, and we made an offer for our athletics coordinator position. These two additions will undoubtedly take our programming to the next level. In addition, making hires such as these will help expand community programs for our youth, our seniors, our special needs populations. And it will also enhance community engagement and participation. For our maintenance staff, they can quickly become stretched pretty thin, especially during the spring and summer months when our athletic fields are routinely being used. And during those months, our athletic fields need to be mowed at least one or two times per week. And if maintenance staff are dealing with other problems or other issues at other locations, then that can raise the need for us to have to contract out the upkeep of our athletic fields, which over the course of a growing season can become pretty expensive. Making sure that we have, to make sure we need to make sure we have an adequate maintenance staff, and that will ensure our parks remain clean, safe, and accessible, and will also prevent deterioration of our athletic fields, our facilities, our trails, and our playgrounds. So in closing, we on the advisory board, we remain grateful to our Board of Commissioners, our town staff. We remain passionate and committed to what we do for the town of Zebulon, the Parks and Rec Department, and our community who call this amazing place called Zebulon home. We continue to be grateful for the opportunity to serve. So at this time, we will open the floor up for any questions, any comments, and kindly ask Ms. Long if she would join us to help answer any of those questions.
Any questions, comments from the board?
I just have one comment for clarification. Staffing is not considered a capital project, just because that usually capital projects are one-time expenditures. And when we talk about staffing, we are building into the budget something that is going to continue in perpetuity. So we don't normally use that as capital, but you guys did great. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Yeah. I'll just second that. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for commitment. Questions, comments from the board? Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good job.
Annexation.
On the right slide here. Good evening, Board of Commissioners and Mayor. I will be doing a brief presentation on both Little River Park annexation before it will be, you have the ability to open it up into a public hearing. And I just wanted to go over real quick. This property is outside of Zebulon's ETJ, meaning that no zoning is assigned. And you saw the rezoning back at the joint public hearing last month, and you'll be seeing that after this presentation. But I wanted to just put in this slide, which references directly to the UDO, that within 60 days of annexation, the Board of Commissioners shall adopt a zoning district classification for the land involved. And so this is just a reminder that annexations and rezonings, when the annexation is happening outside of the ETJ, often go hand in hand. So this property, the applicant is the town of Zebulon. The property owners are the town of Zebulon. The property address is 1800 West Gannon Avenue and 1228 Water Plant Road. The pins for the property is 179525427 and 17951458894, and that's important just so we know we're annexing the correct properties. And then the acreage, the total acreage for these two parcels is 22.23 acres. So public hearing notifications, similar to with the joint public hearing. Annexations are also a public hearing, though they're only seen by the Board of Commissioners. And so tonight there will be an opportunity for public hearing to be opened up for any public comment on this particular project. So public hearing signs were posted, mailed notices were sent out. It was sent to the newspaper as well as the town website. So this is a map that just shows where our current ETJ boundaries lie, right on the other side of Water Plant Road as well as West Gannon, and where our corporate limits end. So you can see that this neighborhood over here, Jasper Place, is within our corporate limits, but if you head just west, there's a land that is not within our corporate limits, including the Little River Park parcel, which we are discussing tonight. So annexation standards, this is laid out in section 2.2.2.g of the UDO, and the following standards are applicable to this project when you are determining its fitness. So does it have owner approval? Can services such as water and sewer, as well as police and fire services be provided to this site? Are any debt obligations outstanding? And whether this project and the annexation of this property is going to impact the public's health, safety, or welfare. So staff recommendations, staff recommends approval of the proposed annexation and the adoption of ordinance 2025-26 if the board finds that the standards of section 2.2.2.g are met. And so at this time, I'll take questions from the board.
Questions, comments from the board? Hearing none. Thank you. Annexation public hearing. Public hearing is an opportunity for the public to express thoughts, ideas, concerns, and opinions regarding the proposed request to the Board of Commissioners. Board of Commissioners staff and the applicant will not engage in dialogue at this time. If the public has questions pertaining to annexation requests, please contact town staff and applicant following the annexation period. I declare the public hearing open for public comment. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the annexation, would you come to the podium up front? Hearing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the annexation? Come to the podium, please. Hearing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak neither for or against the annexation?
Dr. Don Crowan, who live off Proctor Street here in Zebulon. I just have one question. I've heard the proposal. What I haven't heard is, what is the goal? What is the benefit of the people of this town to annex it? What are the negatives toward it? I haven't heard a hearing or specifics to indicate how our services would be benefited or a citizen would be. I'd like to have a little bit more discussion of that before people make decisions. Thank you.
Anyone else wishes to speak neither for or against the annexation? Hearing none. I now declare the public hearing closed. Sample motion. Is there a motion?
I hereby move to approve ordinance 2025-26 for the annexation of Wake County Pen 179-525-4279. 179-514-58994 into the Zebulon corporate boundaries, finding that the standards of sections 2.2.2.g are met.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions, comments
Mayor?
from the board? Commissioner Baxter.
It is my understanding that in order for us to move forward to complete the goals in our Parks and Rec Master Plan as well as our Little River Master Plan, we have to have the Little River property annexed into the town. Without us being able, without us doing that, we would be operating outside of where it is legal for us to operate if we were to move forward to do any improvements to that property. And so I think it's very important for us to bring that on board now, because I know that, especially with the presentation that we just heard, there is a need for us to move forward and make improvements. And we have a very exciting Little River master plan that's going to provide a lot to the citizens of Zebulon. But the first part of that process is this ordinance and making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row so that we can successfully move forward with, while we maintain legality.
Any other comments from the board or staff?
I just want to extend offer to Director Long if there's anything she'd like to add to address Dr. Cohen's questions.
If I got some of that wrong, you can call me out on it.
I think the biggest difference of whether or not it's legal would be the thing I would point out. It's really whether or not we want to go through Wake County development or we want to go through the town of Zebulon development. Town of Zebulon actually has more specific development procedures and policy that is designed to reflect the desires of the community. And so we would be building it to the town of Zebulon standards versus Wake County standards, but it would also be something that the board would be able to ensure that it's built to the standard that you would want anything else built in town. And you own the park. And so from a service perspective, the town service is not going to change much because it is a town park. So the police department's already visiting it. If there's an issue and the fire gets called out, they're already going to go there. We're already maintaining it, so from that perspective, there's not a substantial difference in service. The other piece, other than just which protocol are we going to follow, Wake County or the town of Zebulon, you have the issue of access to City of Raleigh water, which is already on site. It's just whether or not we can connect to it depends on if we're annexed into the town.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from the board? Thank you. We'll have a roll vote. Commissioner Baxter?
Favor.
Commissioner Miles?
Aye.
Commissioner
Favor.
Commissioner Clark? Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next is the Little River Park rezoning.
All right.
Staff?
Yeah, thank you. So this is the second part of tonight. So we just heard the annexation, and now this is your opportunity as a board to assign zoning to this property. And in this presentation, you are determining whether the zoning is appropriate for the location. So the following standards apply. So this is section 2.2.25.j. Whether there's a threat to public health, safety, or welfare, whether it is appropriate for the location in which it's proposed, whether what's proposed as the zoning is reasonable and within the public's interest, and any other relevant factors. And so as Parks Director Sheila Long pointed out, this is kind of a first step in a larger project, or it's not really a first step, it's kind of a middle step in a larger project to permit park improvements at Little River Park. And so that's kind of outcome number one and public purpose number one. The second purpose is public utilities and services can be provided to the park if it is annexed into the town of Zebulon. So as the board has just annexed it into the town of Zebulon, now we are asking for zoning to be assigned so that proper development can occur on site, as well as being consistent with what is required for annexation. And so public utilities otherwise would not be able to be provided if annexation didn't occur. And so that means bathrooms with connected to public water and sewer would not be able to happen on site, which is part of the proposed improvements for Little River Park. And then as well, the park will be able to continue operation as a park under the zoning. The zoning will not limit it from being a park. So the property, as we just discussed, the applicant is the town of Zebulon. The property owner is the town of Zebulon. The property address is 1800 West Gannon Avenue and 1228 Water Plant Road. It's 2.2.23 acres. And then the current zoning is in a Wake County zoning, so it's an R80W Wake County zoning. And the applicant, which is us, and the Parks Department is proposing the zoning of residential suburban, or R2. So current zoning, so as you can see, it's not within our current zoning, and so on our map it does not show zoning, but it is just adjacent to other R2 districts, as well as an OI district right across the street, and you can see some scattered HI and more dense residential districts with an R13 and an R4. So future land use, these properties were not within our future land use boundary, but they're still consistent with our comprehensive plan goals. And so there's no guidance on what the future land use is for this site. But as we know, the use is going to be a park. We can build some idea of what that zoning might be able to look like. So comprehensive plan, as previously discussed, this project will meet a number of comprehensive plan goals which were outlined in the staff report, and this is just a brief overview. It will provide recreational activities to Zebulon residents and visitors, and will continue to expand the existing Zebulon parks and trail network. And there's a couple other goals, but those were kind of the overarching themes of all the goals that were presented in the comprehensive plan. So standard, again, so these are the standards that you're assessing the actual rezoning to tonight. So section 2.2.25.j of the UDO, whether it's reasonable and within the public's health, safety, and welfare, whether it's appropriate for the location in which it's proposed, whether it's reasonable and within the public's interest, and any other relevant factors that the board wants to discuss. So staff recommends approval of the proposed rezoning and the adoption of ordinance 2025-27 if the board finds that the standards of section 2.2.25.j are met. And the planning board also saw this last month at the joint public hearing with the following planning board meeting. And the planning board recommends approval of RZ. At the time it was a rezoning and now it's moved to an ordinance. So RZ 2025-01 for the rezoning of 1800 West Gannon Avenue and 1228 Water Plant Road to R2, finding that the standards of section 2.2.25.j have been met. So I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have this evening.
Questions, comments from the board?
That we're going to be able to start moving forward on the Little River master plan. So totally excited.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. I hereby move to approve ordinance 2025-27 for rezoning of 1800 West Gannon Avenue and 1228 Water Plant Road to R2, finding that it is consistent with the Grove Zebulon Comprehensive Land Use Plan and the standards of the section 2.2.25.j have been met as described in the prepared statement per UDO 2.2.25H.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'd like to second that.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll vote. Commissioner Davis. Favor. Commissioner Clark. Favor. Commissioner Harrison. Favor. Commissioner Miles.
Aye.
Commissioner Baxter.
In favor.
Motion passes. Thank you. Let's see. New business. Manager's report. Manager Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Board. I just want to thank you guys for attending our Talk with the Town last Thursday night. From everything I hear, it was a great success. It was a good opportunity for myself and the mayor to interact with the public, the residents of Zebulon. I'm just grateful that our citizenry they're so engaged, right? Just to be able to have those conversations, those one-on-one handshakes, and just to get to meet those people, get their perspective, get their viewpoint on what they think local government is, just to see some new faces. So thanks again. I'm looking forward to doing it again. We don't have a date yet, but it is something that we definitely will do again. There were several questions. There were a lot of questions. We are going through those questions right now to filter through those questions and make sure every single question gets a response. Once that response is crafted, the answers to those questions will be posted on our website for everyone to see. I'm real big on transparency, accountability, and communication. So give us some time. We'll get through those questions, and you will get a response to each question. But thanks again. It was just a good time just for Zebulon to come out and meet our board and meet myself and our assistant town manager. So thank you.
Thank you, Manager Todd. Board comments. Commissioner Davis.
Good evening and happy March. I just have a quick announcement. We do have a foundation that is right here in the town of Zebulon, and it is called the Elijah J. Hawkins Manor Foundation. This foundation does great work within the town of Zebulon and within Wake County, and they have a mission. Right now their mission, they have 4 points of 1, academic achievement, community outreach, mentorship, and benevolence. And I just want to announce that on March 15th, right here in Zebulon from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m., they will be live at the Share Thrift Boutique. If you're not familiar, that's the one that's next to the Dollar General, right there on Gannon, Dollar Tree, excuse me, and Dollar General. They are going to be partnering with Melissa Wade from 103.9, which is the Light, a gospel radio station, and they will be collecting donations. They are partnering with Oak City Cares, and they are just raising awareness, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that next. But if you have donations, they're looking for blankets, socks, undergarments, shoes, book bags, and more. And this was actually in memory and honoring of their son, Elijah. Elijah transitioned, I believe it was October of 2023, and they have taken their pain and turned it into purpose, and so they just want to give back into the community every way that they can. So I ask that, especially being that it is centered right here in the town of Zebulon, that we just show some support. So again, March 15, that morning from 10 a.m. till 12 that afternoon, if you can come out with any donations or just come out and support, meet the couple and just find out how you can get involved and support them and maybe do some collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark?
The first thing I want to ask is if the board could move our work session from the 20th to the 27th.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
Sorry. To move the work session from the 20th to the 27th.
That's when they have Stars in the East program at the high school. Is there another date?
You don't want to do it on a Friday, and you can't do it on the 26th, so I don't have another date.
What about the 24th or 25th?
I won't be here.
Okay.
I'll be gone the 18th through the 25th. So, that's okay. And another thing I'd like to bring up, I'd like to know the status of some of our job. The police chief, I mean, it's time. Have we even sent it to Development Associates? Have they started looking? Also, Public Works Director, we have the interim now, but that also needs to be put on. And then I know we're looking for HR Director, and a clerk. But it seems like we have put this behind us, and it needs to be brought back to the front so that we can get the work done.
If you have comments, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, Commissioner. So we have been in conversations with a firm called SGR. They specialize in law enforcement recruiting. We do have a proposal that we plan to present before you pretty soon for the police chief hire. As far as the public works director position, we have been in conversation. We plan on making that hire as soon as feasibly possible. But we are looking at each vacancy on a weekly basis. It's something it is top of mind.
But now in January, there was a budget amendment for Development Associates for the police chief?
Yes, ma'am. So that budget amendment was for recruitment for development associates for positions that had already been posted.
Okay, all right.
Right.
For the police department specifically?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Before we move on, Commissioner Clark, so are we still looking for an alternate date, or are we?
It would be, I don't see where it would be in March.
You just need it to happen on the 27th?
On the 27th.
No, I know, but are you available any other date?
She'll be out of town, is what she was saying. She'll be out of town.
Beforehand, right?
Right, but in CCC is the week before. This is that week, and the 27th is Stars of the East.
Stars of the East.
So is there anything else that you say?
I don't see where.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
I
that
don't think you can.
if we need to have that
Unless you pulled it up,
conversation, we could.
got it The 20th, unless we moved it up to 13th, but I don't know if that gives us enough time to get stuff together.
Well, and that's not a good week.
All right. That's fine. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Hurst?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Commissioner Miles?
None, sir.
Commissioner Baxter?
Leave it. So just this past week, the board, the mayor, and myself, we were all at the Town and State Dinner in Raleigh. This is an opportunity for municipal officials to meet and have conversations with people at the state level, both our House of Representatives and our Senate. And for us, it is a wonderful opportunity to make sure that our voices are heard, not just with our own representatives, which we are very lucky to be able to be in contact with regularly since we are so close to Raleigh, but also with some of these decision makers and policy leaders from other parts of this state. One of the things that I was able to have some good conversations about was House Bill 173. House Bill 173 is extremely concerning for us, and we should be paying very close attention to it here in Wake County because it is a bill that will prohibit any further expansion of our extraterritorial jurisdiction just for the municipalities in Wake County. And what that will do for us in Zebulon is already our extraterritorial jurisdiction has shrunk quite a bit just because we've been annexing folks in. Never, never forced. We don't do that here. These are people that have asked for annexations. But when that happens, it doesn't automatically expand our ETJ. And what this bill is going to do is it is going to prohibit us from petitioning to have our ETJ expanded for several years. That is going to be very damaging to how we operate. It is going to really hurt our current residents and our future residents, and so it was good to be able to have those conversations. In addition to the town and state dinner, I am off to DC to speak on Zebulon's behalf to our federal legislators next week. I think that no matter what side of the aisle you identify with, I think everyone can agree that there are some things that are having negative impacts in our life that have recently rolled down from the feds. Just one big example is the lack of grant funding, the loss of jobs, and for me, I want to make sure that I let people know that their decisions are affecting real people in the great state of North Carolina and Wake County and Zebulon, and to ask them to work with other legislators to remedy some of these grant situations and certainly some of the Doge firings that have happened, because especially speaking with one of my counterparts from Fayetteville, it has been disastrous. And considering that the largest number of vets in North Carolina reside in Wake County, we have to be very, very cognizant of VA-related jobs. We want to make sure that those continue to exist as we move forward over the next 4 years. So I will be working very hard to have conversations with people who are making decisions on the federal level. It is also Women's History Month, and while we didn't do a proclamation, I'm going to proclaim it right now. Well done, women. We continue to move forward towards equity in the workplace and at home, and I am very, very proud of the people that I work alongside with on the board, as well as people in other municipalities, our members of staff, and as far as like in history, I'm just going to call out someone from my hometown of Danbury, Connecticut, Sybil Luddington. She actually rode farther and alerted more to the incoming British than anyone else, even that famous guy. So we've got women who have been working towards the betterment of our country since the beginning of our country. And probably even before that if we talk about the Native American population, because certainly let's not forget the wonderful contributions they have made. And so just in my own personal life, I would like to recognize some people that have been helping me along in my journey as a public servant. One of those people is Mayor Pro Tem Sonia Cooper from the town of Spring Lake. Another is Mayor Tina Brown from Robinsonville. Amelia Stinson, she is in Pineville. Those women are wonderful sounding boards and help keep me grounded as I move forward through this journey that I'm on in municipal government. So thank you to all the women working hard today and who worked hard yesterday to allow me the seat at the table that I'm in right now.
Thank you. I'd like to first thank the staff that assisted with the Black History Month program at the Community Center. It was very well attended. This is the second year we've had this program, and I think it's successful program in acknowledging the families that helped create this community that we live in. Special thanks to Mr. Desi Campbell. He's very much interested in this type of work and genealogy and ancestry, and thank you to the staff for all the work that they did to make that happen. Thank you for the Zebulon Elementary, Wakeland Elementary School for inviting me out to read to the kids for Black History Month. Is very exciting, and I get a big kick out of it, reading to the kids. We also have upcoming, I think tomorrow, at the Zebulon Middle School. I'll be there reading to the kids again. So I'm just reading all over the place.
Reading across America, but we are reading across Zebulon.
Yeah. So thank you for those invitations, and thank the staff. I mean, thank the board for. I know there's some board members that are also involved in those readings to our school kids in our various schools. So thank you for that input. And I think the first talk with the town was great. And as Manager Todd referred to, that we probably need more of those because there's so many questions that we just couldn't answer them all. But as he said, that we will get a response to all the questions that were submitted. Hopefully we can continue these events to engage our citizens and to educate our citizens on what municipal government is all about, and making ourselves available to the citizens of the community. And that's all for me. And next we have a closed session to allow us to discuss personnel discussion. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
And just before we go into closed session, a 5-minute recess.
Need a second vote, please.
I'm sorry. We got a motion for go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? 5-minute recess.